So hey guys, and thanks for joining me for the randomness that is the Random Watch Do channel. And today, special day today guys, special day, special video. The reason it's a special video today is because this is actually video number 100. Yes, that's right guys, I've reached the centenary of my videography here on YouTube. This is video number 100. Now, if you'll remember in video number 99, which I released last weekend, I was the very proud owner, the very smug, proud owner of a new Rolex Submariner 124060, my grail watch, my go anywhere, do anything watch, the watch that I've poured a lot of emotion and effort into acquiring. And today guys, for my centenary video, this is just purely by coincidence, it happens to be my 100th video. I'm going to talk to you today about a week on the wrist. I've had this watch for a week now and I've worn it basically consistently throughout the day. I haven't worn it at night, I've taken it off at night, but I've worn it consistently throughout the day for the last week. And I'm also going to talk, because a couple of you have asked me, how does this watch, the Rolex Submariner, compare to the Rolex Sea Dweller 43? Now I happen to be the owner of a Sea Dweller 43 as well, so I'm going to show you some videos of those two watches side by side as well, so that you can see the difference between those two watches. But first guys, before we jump into it, let's roll the intro. Okay, so I'm going to start with how did I get the Submariner? How did I get the call, guys? Now, as a lot of you know, I've been after a 124060 for rather a long time. I've actually been on the waiting list at the Hourglass since very early 2021. Went on the list. They actually invited me to a exhibition. This is shortly after the first COVID lockdown actually. They invited me to an exhibition of their Rolex watches, and at that time the new Submariner had just been released in September 2020, and I was invited to an exhibition along with probably the other 1,000 people that were on the mailing list for the Hourglass at that time. And I went and had a look, and when I had a look at that sub I thought, yep, this is the watch for me, and I went on the list. Now I've actually acquired, between then and now, I've actually acquired several other Rolex watches from them, and I know some of you are going to know where I bought this watch from, and yes guys, if you hadn't guessed already, I bought it from the Hourglass. Now, if you've watched some of my previous videos, particularly the ones that I released around February, March, you'll know that I didn't always have the greatest fondness for the Hourglass. I haven't always had the greatest relationship. I used to have a great relationship. Cut a long story short guys, one or two key people there that I had a really good relationship with left, and what I found was, to my dismay, that once those two key salespeople had left, I really had no relationship at all, and nobody knew me there. So I found that quite difficult, because it kind of means that, particularly in the world of Rolex, when you need to kind of build a relationship, I found that quite difficult to sort of feel that I had to start all over again kind of thing. But I did, and we got over a few little road humps on the way, and it was the Hourglass. It was Danny at the Hourglass who sent me a text message, last week, and it just basically said, it was 7 o'clock in the morning as well, it said, "Congratulations Mark, when do you want to come and pick up your dream watch?" And I actually, no word of a lie guys, I thought this is a hacked message, or a kind of a spoof message, or somebody's tricking me, somebody that I know is tricking me. It took me quite a while for it to sink in that no, this was a genuine text from the Hourglass to say, "Here's your dream watch, come and pick it up." So of course, needless to say, I couldn't get in that day unfortunately, but I was in the next day, picked it up, and the rest is history. Just a quick, just to sort of put that in perspective, because I know a few of you guys want to know, or would like to know, what's the buying history? Did I have to spend, $50,000 on junk that I didn't want in order to get the call for a Submariner? Well, the answer is no. I've got a list here of the watches that I've bought prior to getting the Submariner. I'll just read it out to you because it's quite interesting. In 2019, I bought the red bezeled Tudor Black Bay 41 because I wanted that watch and I loved that watch. In 2020, my wife bought a Tag Heuer Carrera because she wanted that watch, and she still wears it frequently now, and she loved it. Later in 2020, I got a call for a 36mm Explorer two-tone, which I was on the list for, and I bought that very happily. In 2021, I got the Rolex Sea Dweller 43. In 2023, quite a big gap there, in 2023 I got a call for the Rolex GMT Master 2 Riddler, the VTNR, the Riddler, not long after it had been released as well, so I felt very fortunate to get that. I wear my watches on my right wrist, so it's made sense to get a completely weird looking left-hand drive watch. So there you go, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 watches from the Hourglass prior to getting the Submariner, 3 of which were pretty hot Rolex watches. But the last 3 watches I bought before the Submariner were all Rolex watches. I didn't have to buy shit that I didn't want. Excuse my French, but I didn't have to buy rubbish watches that I didn't want. I didn't have to buy jewellery. I didn't have to buy anything. I didn't take them coffees at lunchtime. I didn't drop in boxes of chocolates, and that happens frequently at that particular AD. I know that happens frequently. They are getting showered by gifts from people that want watches constantly, more gifts than they know what to do with, by the way. I've never done any of that. And then, anyway, so long story short, guys, yeah, look, I'm really happy that this happened this way, really, without me having to play. I don't think I played games as such. I think the secret for me was persistence. I think I was persistent, and I think ultimately that's what kind of won the day in the end. So the next thing, I guess, the big question is, after a week on the wrist, after a week of this little baby on the wrist, does it live up to expectations, my expectations, which of course are very, very high? And I'll talk to you about that after you've seen a close-up shot of the watch in question with alongside the Sea Dweller 43. Yeah, so there's the sub, and there's what it looks like alongside the Sea Dweller 43, and I will talk in a bit more detail about that comparison shortly. But the next thing I just wanted to cover off, there's 2 more things I want to cover off about the sub in this video. One is, does it live up to expectation? And the other one is, there's a comment that's been made many thousands of times, is that everybody's got a sub. Boring, yawn, everybody's got a sub. I'm going to answer that question. Well, it's not a question; it's a statement that people make, because it's just an all-knowing assumption that everybody wears a Submariner these days. And I've got a point of view on that based on fact and numbers, and I want to share that with you as well. So, does it live up to expectation, guys? Yeah, look, it's stunning. It's a stunning watch. I haven't taken my eyes off it, really. It's very difficult to stay driving in a straight line on the road when I'm wearing this watch, because I keep looking at it. What really grabs me about this watch, more than anything, is the stunning, 2 words, stunning simplicity. They are the 2 words that I would use to describe this Submariner, stunning simplicity. It's also very elegant, it's very sporty, it's accurate, it's running at +1 second per day at the moment, +1 second per day. And of course, what grabs your attention as you get to know these watches, as you get more familiar with them, is You know, and I'll give you an example, is the really, really fine machining tolerances of this watch. They are absolutely pinpoint sharp. The lines on this watch are pinpoint sharp. And also the tolerances on the bracelet, just the general feeling of solidity and high, I guess, you know, high standards of CNC machining, because we all know that these watches are machine made and hand assembled to a degree, but they're mainly machine made. But you know, there's crap machine made, yeah, and there's really, really high end, high specification machine made, and these are super high end specification machine made timepieces. There you go. So the next, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to talk to you about why I disagree that everyone's got a sub, but first let's roll a quick video of the sub. Okay, so the old chestnut that people like to throw at you when you get yourself a new Submariner, or you even talk about getting yourself a Submariner. The old chestnut that people throw at you is, everybody's got a sub, boring. Everybody's got a Submariner. I disagree, and I'm going to disagree based on some facts, and I've just put together, or let's say not necessarily facts, because no one really knows the facts about how many Submariners get made and how many Submariners are out there. But let's just say, for example, we assume that Rolex makes 1.2 million watches per year, which is a phenomenal amount of watches. Of those 1.2 million watches that they make, I'm going to say, let's just say, you know, for the sake of argument, that around 10% of those watches, around 10% of the 1.2 million watches that they make are Submariners. Not just the Submariner 124060, but also the Submariner dates, of which you've got two variants, the green bezel, the black bezel, and you've also, of course, got two tones, root beers. You know, you've got the bluesy, the root beer, then you've got the solid gold Submariner, and I think they do that in two different variants of solid gold. So let's say there are 6 or 7 variants of the Submariner out there, and if they're making around 100,000 of those every year, I'm going to say to you now, guys, that I reckon around 1 in 5 of those, and I think this is probably quite optimistic, it may be less, but let's say that around 1 in 5 of all Submariner that get made by Rolex are the no date, the 124060. That means that Rolex are making about 20,000 Submariners a year. That may sound a lot to you. 20,000 of these watches are being made by Rolex every year of this specific model. But then let's divide that into the 1,500 authorized dealers around the world. Then what you're looking at, guys, and I've done a quick calculation so that you don't have to do this in your head. If there are 1,500 ADs and around 20,000 Submariners being made every year, that means that each authorized dealer is receiving very roughly, 1, maybe 2 max Submariners every month, each AD. Now here in New Zealand, there are 5 Rolex authorized dealers. So if those 5 Rolex authorized dealers are receiving 1 a month, let's say, there are easily less than 100 Submariners, less than 100 of these coming into the country I live in New Zealand, every year. Now, of course, that's going to be significantly higher in the States, that's going to be significantly higher in Europe, and of course in Asia. But I'm just trying to put this in perspective, guys. To use the phrase, everybody's got a sub, is rubbish. No, they haven't. If you're seeing a lot of Submariners, it's because you're watching lots of YouTube videos like this one, and you assume that they're everywhere. They're not. If you think that you're seeing lots of Submariners physically, the likelihood is that the vast majority of Submariners that you're seeing are fake or homage. In fact, I would go as far as to say that probably if you were walking down the street, I would say less than 1 in 10 watches that you see that you think are a Submariner, a real Submariner, are actually a real Submariner. They're usually either going to be a fake, because there are many millions of fakes out there, or it's going to be a homage. And there are lots of homages out there, guys, that from 10, 15, 20 feet away, they look exactly like the real thing, don't they? I mean, that's why they're called a homage. There's pretty much a clone of the real thing. So again, guys, I'm just trying to put this in perspective. I don't think there are as many Submariners, proper real Submariners out there as a lot of people wish to think. I think there's a lot of homages out there and a lot of fakes and a lot of copies and a lot of watches that do look like a sub from a distance. Anyway, I think I've laboured that point enough. Now let's jump into the next conversation, guys, to finish this video, which is how does the Submariner compare to the Rolex Sea Dweller 43? Right, so there you have it, guys. That's me wrapped up for this video. You've heard what I think of the sub. You've seen plenty of video of the sub by now. You've listened to the appalling music that I've put to accompany those videos, and you've had to listen to me for well over 15 minutes by now. So well done if you've got this far in the video. Thank you very much, and thank you also. Look, for all of you guys that have subscribed. I've been making videos since November 2023. It's now September 24, and I've got to 100 videos, and as of making this video we're on 2,000, I think just under 2,800 subscribers, which is phenomenal. Honestly, when I started this YouTube channel, it was just for a laugh. It was just for something to do. It was just basically a bucket list item. I thought, yeah, just make some videos on YouTube and have some fun. And it's sort of developed into I've got a nice little cult following, which I'm very appreciative of, and it kind of makes it worthwhile. It makes it worth me, continuing to make videos, really. So, yeah, look, the watch journey for me has been, well, you followed me, the guys that have followed me from the start, thank you for that. It's been a roller coaster ride, and I have absolutely no doubt that there is a new direction for me to take in my watch journey now, and I look forward to sharing those videos with you. So thanks ever so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.